Okay, this is part two of my new member orientation, or Longtime Lions orientation. It can be either one. This is specific to District 2E2, and I'm going to talk about the entities that we support as a district. The first one, of course, everybody in Texas supports, and that's the Texas Lions Camp. And I'm sure that everyone watching this probably has heard about the Texas Lions Camp. If you live in Texas, and you probably have heard about it if you live outside of Texas. This is one of our biggest entities, and the one that we as Texas, all members in Texas, support. The Texas Lions Camp is in Kerrville, and we offer 1 week long camping to handicapped children in Texas, also to diabetic children. We have about 1,500 kids that we send to camp every year. Of course, 2020 has sort of stopped that process this year, unfortunately, but they did a online video Zoom type meeting camp for the children this year. So the children did get to participate. But this has been going on since 1949, and it began after the polio epidemic. And so these children go to camp and they find that there are many other children just like themselves. These may be kids that think, I'm the only one that has this problem. They get to Texas Lions Camp and they see that they're not the only one. Just a couple of stories that I really like that I've heard from Texas Lions Camp kiddos. There was a story that was told. There was a lion down at the camp, and he was down there visiting and helping. We have clubs that go down and provide meals or ice cream and things like that, but he was down for one of those sessions, and he saw a little boy in a wheelchair that did not have any legs, and a little boy was pushing him, and the boy in the wheelchair was saying, go a little bit right, go a little bit left, no, go a little bit right. And he found out that the boy pushing him was blind. Those two kids had hooked up and became fast friends, and they worked together to do what they got to do at camp. We had a little diabetic boy that my club sponsored, and we had the dad come and talk to us, and he said this little boy was about 8 or 9 years old, and he had been recently diagnosed with diabetes, and he thought he was the only kid in the world that couldn't drink Dr. Peppers and had to stick his finger 4 times a day. And Dad said he had pretty much just shut down. He was depressed and wouldn't interact with anybody, and he went to the Texas Lions Camp, and again he found 250 other children just like him, and they taught the kids there about medications and about eating. So not only do they get to have fun and do camp things like swimming and horseback riding and all that type things, but they learn too. At the Lions Camp for these 2 weeks, we have doctors out of Corpus Christi that they shut down their office for 2 weeks, and the doctors and the staff come to the Texas Lions Camp to be the camp doctors and the camp nurses. And of course there are other nurses in there, but these doctors specifically come every year, and they give back by being the doctors at the diabetic sessions of camp. But Dad said this little boy got in the car and he talked for 5 hours straight. He said it was completely, totally life-changing what happened to him at the Texas Lions Camp. And there are hundreds of stories like this. And I know that all of you watching this probably have heard those stories also. But this is one of our favorite entities that we support in District 2E2. The Organ and Eye Bank is another entity, and I'm just going to open these up here. The Organ and Eye Bank was started quite a number of years ago when we actually harvested the corneas ourselves. We had a member of our district that actually went to the morgues or the funeral homes or wherever he needed to go, and he harvested those corneas that were transplanted. And I always thought that was pretty cool that someone could go and actually do that. But of course with HIPAA and OSHA and all the mess that we're in these days with rules and regulations, we had to stop doing that. And so we partnered with UT Southwestern, and they do our transplants now. We have an annual white cane activity that we raise money for prevention of blindness and loss of vision. We have a vision assistance fund that people who need surgeries or that sort of thing and they can't afford it can apply for that funding. As it says here, we maintain that relationship with UT Southwestern. We partner with Prevent Blindness. We have mobile vision clinics, and we have scholarships that are awarded to the winners of our diabetic essay contest. And this is a contest that's done for juniors and seniors in high school, and they are able to do an essay and win scholarships for that. So many vision screenings now. We have all the little machines that you look in and do the screenings that just take a matter of seconds, and we can find problems with children's vision. We have a bus that goes around in our district that actually will go to some of the vision screenings, and they have everything that's needed to make the glasses right there in that bus. So a child can get their vision checked, and if there's a problem, then they can go out to the bus and have the optometrist or the ophthalmologist that's volunteering that day to do the complete exam, and then their glasses are made right then, and they walk out with a new pair of glasses. And it's so heartwarming to see these children put those glasses on, and they look around and they say, wow. It's just amazing, and that does so much for our hearts and tells us why we are Lions. We also support the Drug Awareness Council, which is exactly what it says, drug awareness, and how needed is that these days. We sponsor an annual poster contest, and the children, there's a theme, and kids from kindergarten all the way up through high school can do posters and win not scholarships, but gift cards and things like that. If you remember the old DARE program that was around quite a number of years ago, this was formed from our Drug Awareness Council. And so we have been working with this situation for many years. The Drug Awareness Council also will do some grants, and they like to do matching grants, and will give to clubs that would like to do some type of drug awareness program in their community. The Julian C. Heyer International Youth Camp. Now, this is my favorite entity. The objective to create and foster a spirit of understanding among people of the world. This camp gives youth a chance to come to Texas and to learn about the way we live and what we do here. I sat on the board of this entity for about 17 years. My husband and I hosted for 14 of those. I've got kids all over the world. We keep in contact much easier now with Facebook. I've got 2 or 3 of my boys that will call me on Mother's Day or call me on my birthday. And it's just amazing when these kids come here. You wouldn't think in 5 weeks that you would get so close to these young people. I say kids. They're between 17 and 20. And to have them in your home for really only 2.5 weeks, because we send them to other places besides just Dallas and Fort Worth. This is an entity that we share with 2X1, which is our district right next door to us. The kids come here on a last Sunday in June. They spend a week in our homes, and that's sort of the get to know me time. We have get-togethers so that they can meet the other campers and the other host families. And then on that Sunday of that first week, we take them up to Lake Texoma, where we have camp, which they spend a week together with sponsors. They have sponsors up there, and all the kids, usually between 30 and 40 kids. We've had as many as 40 or 42 kids at some points in time. But they go up to Lake Texoma. They go sailing. They go to different clubs around there, and the clubs will have them there for their meetings, and they can tell about their countries. The kids have to have a time when they talk to the group about their country and their customs and that sort of thing, a way to get to know each other. And they do a talent show. And they just work together to come up with some sort of talent, or sometimes non-talent. And it's very fun to watch. They do this program for the host families when we go back up to pick them up the following Saturday. Some of the talent is amazing with native dances and kids that are playing violin and doing artwork, and other talents are really silly, but it's okay. I had two boys who dressed in flags and lip synced to Barbara Ann one year. But it's just a time that these kids can work together and get to know each other. They come back home at the end of that week, and they spend the weekend with us here, and then we send them down to Austin, and they tour the Capitol and the Bob Bullock Museum and do tubing and all kinds of things down in the Austin area. Sometimes it's more San Antonio or other areas around Austin, but they go down there for a week. They're hosted by Lions in that area. They come back home for another weekend, and then we send them to Lubbock. And everybody says, why in the world would you send those kids to Lubbock? The kids love Lubbock. This is like real Texas. This is hot and dry and cowboys, and this is what they picture Texas being when they get out there. They see more museums than they want to see. They go to the Palo Duro Canyon and see the play, the Texas play. They go to Texas Tech and tour, and they just do all kinds of things there. There's multiple museums, the Buddy Holly Museum and the Potato Dry Museum. And so lots of things that they do in Lubbock, and the Lions in the Lubbock area host them while they're out there. They come back home. They spend the last week with us doing everything that we haven't had time to do while they were here the first 4 weeks. If it be Six Flags or the Sixth Floor Museum or Stockyards, we try to show them everything we can possibly show them while they are here. They fly out. That next Sunday, we have a farewell dance the Saturday before, when most of us are crying and, doing those last goodbyes, and we send them off on Sunday back to their homes, and a relationship has been built. And these are kids that may go back to their home someday and change the world. I was at one of the farewell dances one night, and there were two girls sitting down on the floor chit-chatting near where I was standing, and I heard one of the girls say, let me back that up. We had a girl, one of these girls was from Northern Ireland and one was from Ireland. This was back during those warring times, back about 15 years ago, or maybe even 20 years ago. But these two girls were sitting on the floor talking, and, when we had signed the applications for them to come, we thought, what's going to happen with this because of the situation in their countries. But they were sitting there, and one of the girls said, at home we'd be enemies, but here we're friends. And it was like, yes, that's why we do this. That's the reason that we bring these kiddos over, and we show them what we do in Texas. And that just impressed me very much that I heard them say that. But it's just a really fun entity that we promote and that we support. And unfortunately, again, this year with COVID, we weren't able to have our kids come over. But it's a fun time. When I went to Germany, to Hamburg, for my governor's school, I went about 2.5 weeks early and spent time with 3 of my boys. And they took me and showed me everything in their country that they could find to show me while we were there, just like we did when they were here. So it's an amazing experience, and I really love this entity. Our next one is the Texas Lions Foundation. And this is the Texas smaller version of Lions Club International Foundation. This is the grant writing section. We have disaster relief, where we give grants to areas in Texas that have floods or Harveys or tornadoes or just regular flooding, anything that comes through, the fires that we've seen. But the district governor, can request $2,000 to help with someone area that needs to have some type of relief, and we can get that $2,000 almost instantly. They have a humanitarian services, and I don't see that this is used a lot, but they will offer grants for various things that we would like to do, projects and things that will help our communities. The Eyeglass Recycling Center, we have a District 2E2 recycling center, which is in Watauga, which is down near North Fort Worth. We bring the glasses in, the recycled glasses in, we clean them and make sure that they're not broken, and then we run them through the little machines that set up the prescription, mark them, put them in boxes, and they're sent out to missions around the world. We have missionaries or people, doctors that are going on these mission trips, and they ask for glasses to take with them. And we send thousands and thousands of glasses out to areas around the world where there are no glasses available. This is a satellite of the big recycling center, which is in Midland, and we support this one in our district. We ask clubs to go in and work here. We do the cleaning and the processing, and that takes a lot of lions to do that. So it's really fun to take your club and go do that. Leader Dogs for the Blind, of course, many of us support this, other than just in our district. This is up in Rochester, Michigan, and they train dogs to be sight dogs, and then they train people to be able to work with their dog. We got to go to Leader Dog before I became governor, and I always knew that this was an amazing place, but going up there and actually seeing it and seeing the dogs and the people working together and the stories of so many things that go on in people's lives, of how these dogs have saved them. One story, a lady said that she started to step off the curb to go across, and the dog immediately zipped in front of her, and he saw that someone had run a stop sign, and that car just zoomed past her within seconds. Just many, many stories like that, and to see how people's lives are changed with our Leader Dogs that we provide for them. We have our World Services for the Blind, which is in Little Rock, Arkansas, and this is an area that trains blind or sight-impaired people, mostly adults, to perform a job. We have the IRS and Dell and several of those that provide instructions through the computer. And the IRS, when any student goes through this, they guarantee them a job when they come out of this studies that they do down at the World Services for the Blind. I always laugh and say, if I ever have to call the IRS, I'm going to say, "Are you blind?" Thank goodness I've never had to call the IRS. But they provide training that sight-impaired people need to lead a productive life. The Lions Club International Foundation, of course, everyone knows about LCIF. Since 1968, millions and millions of dollars have been sent out around the world for all kinds of disasters. We can apply for grants for other things. Lions Quest is huge in our district for we get those grants to put the training in schools for the children, and just many, many things that come out of Lions Club International Foundation. We have the Sports Extravaganza, which is an entity that 2X1 and 2E2 support. These kids, the sight-impaired kids, come in October, and they do all types of Olympic-type games. It's kind of like the Special Olympics, but it's for sight-impaired children. They get the big medals, and as you can see from the picture, they're up on the dais, and they get their gold medal and their silver medals and their bronze medals. And usually about 240 kids come in to participate in this games, and the things that they do with races and long jumps and just all kinds of things. They have things for even the little bitty kids, the ball tosses and things like that. So again, it's another project that takes many lions to put on and to have it actually work. And so another opportunity that we can go and serve our communities. This is just about our due structure. We have our international dues, and it's $37.75, which is a per capita tax, which is just a fancy word for dues. We spend $50 that goes to our international convention fund, and our Lions magazine is $4.75. These are mandatory dues, and these are ones that we are required to pay every year for each of our members. We also have our state and district dues, which in 2E2, it's $21 for the Lions Camp. $8.75 is our administrative fund. The $7 is our MD2, our Texas Administrative Fund. 50 cents for Promote Texas. 50 cents for the MD2 Conference Fund. Oregon and I Bank is $3, and the Julian C. Hire Youth Camp is $2. Those we talked about before. Those also are mandatory dues that we must pay each year for each of our members. And then we have our 100% contributions, and these are our, we kind of like to say, our love offering. But we send $10 to the Lions Camp, $2 to each of the other entities that we spoke about, and then $1 for the LCIF. This year, that has one of the entities that we're not doing for the 100%. If someone's watching this and says, but I don't think we do JCH, we have taken Julian C. Hire off this year, as they did not have camp this year, and so we're applying that money to another area. We have added the Quest program to this, and we have made Quest part of our 100% contributions. Clubs that contribute this amount of money to these entities is considered a 100% club. We have several clubs that are 400% clubs or 500% clubs, which just means that they increase this by 4 or 5 times what is mandatory, or I won't say mandatory, what is necessary to make you be a 100% club. And so these contributions are very important to the entities. This is how we're able to process used eyeglasses, how we're able to send children to camp, how we're able to provide leader dogs and training at the World Services for the Blind. District involvement is something that's really a lot of fun, and it helps to show self-improvement through greater leadership practices. There was a time in my life I would never have stood in front of a group and talked, and now I've been governor and am currently council chair for MD2 for 2022 and 23. And so just getting up in front of people and talking in a Lions Club meeting can also be a training to go on to be governor or to be his own chair. We have service to our fellow man through these activities. We support our parent organization, fellowship with other leaders, contributions to district direction, project action, and growth. This is something that we, as leaders in our district, we want to hear everybody's thoughts and ideas. Don't ever be afraid to bring up something that you would like to talk about. We can be proud to be involved in the largest and most humanitarian service organization in the world. A purpose of Lions Club: to determine community needs and develop means of meeting those needs. And that's what we as Lions do every day. Opportunities to be involved in district cabinet meetings. We have 4 per year. We have a midwinter conference and a district convention, zone meetings, and we can serve on these entities' boards. All of these entities have a board that directs how the monies we donate to them are spent. And like I said earlier, I was on the Julian C. Hire board for like 17 years. And so being involved that way is a really fun way to extend your Lions experience. Youth opportunities: we have our poster contest, a drug awareness and peace poster. We have a speech contest, essay contest, outstanding youth contest. We have Leo clubs, and then of course our youth exchange. We can send our kids over to camps in other countries, just like we bring those kiddos over here for our Julian C. Hire camp. This is just a slide that shows international organization. It's pretty much the same as as what our club organization is, with the international presidents and the board of directors of the district governor, first and second vice district governors, region chair, zone chair, and then club presidents. I always think that actually members should be up there at the very top, and it would be members and then the international president, because members are very, very important, and every idea and thought that you have is important to us. This is the same pretty much for District E2 and how our club officers are. We have board of directors that makes decisions. Lions Club International gives us a suggested classifications for major service activities. Probably everything you could ever think of doing, anything you could ever think of doing, is on this list. And I won't read the whole list there, but as you glance down through there, you can see how many classifications there are that we can put our service activities into. We want our clubs to be successful. Our club should have a major service activity that involves every member, major fundraising projects, strong public relations, well-organized club meetings. If people come to meetings and they aren't having fun, if it's eat, gossip, and go home, it's not worth our time and they're not coming. Everyone is very time conscious these days. We have 100,000 things, it seems like, that we do. And those club meetings need to be well organized, and they need to be fun. We need to have fun with what we're doing. We need a team spirit, strong membership growth, development, and retention programs. We can attend district trainings, international conventions, state conventions. My very, very favorite one is the USA-Canada Lions Leadership Forum, and I love going to those. I've been to 14 of those over my 27 years of being a Lion. You learn so much at those, not just about Lions, but for things that you can use in your everyday life. Clubs are required to meet at least twice a month, although sometimes now we're finding out we can do those by Zoom. Lions Magazine is published in 21 languages. Who are the Lions? Our mission statement: to empower volunteers to serve their communities, meet humanitarian needs, encourage peace, promote international understanding through Lions Club. Our motto, as probably all of you know, is we serve. Why are we Lions? To create and foster a spirit of understanding among people of the world. Also to have fun and to have friends. The people we are with on a regular basis in our Lions Club, in our district, even internationally, become friends. And you go to these quarterly type meetings and it's like Old Home Week. How are you doing? How are the grandkids doing? Lions Club is just a fun place to be involved, and it does so much good for so many people. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope that you have learned something about District 2E2 and the things that we do in this district, but some of this also relates to outside of our district. So thank you for watching.